And joining us now is the aforementioned actor, producer, entrepreneur Dwayne Johnson and his good friend, UFC President Dana White. And we want to get into the collab between the UFC and Project Rock in a few moments. But, guys, we got to start with the main event here at UFC 270. Dwayne, from your standpoint, this is obviously one of the most anticipated heavyweight bouts we've seen in the UFC. What intrigued you the most about Francis Ngannou going up against Ciryl Gane?
Well, let's make no mistake about it. This is not only one of the most anticipated heavyweight bouts of all time, but it has the potential to be the greatest and biggest heavyweight bout of all time. It's why everybody should tune in this Saturday. And I think for me, what makes this really unique and intriguing and interesting is, number one, just as a fan of the UFC, but also as a pretty big boy myself and appreciating the heavyweights. I mean, you have two guys. You have Francis, who carries with him this intimidation that is second to none. It reminds me of, and Dana and I talked about this before, it reminds you of Mike Tyson back in the day, where he steps to the octagon with such incredible intimidation and power. But then you also have a guy in Ciryl who is so incredibly technical, so incredibly fast. And not only that, but then, these are guys who've known each other, who've trained with each other, dropped blood, sweat with each other. And so the whole thing makes it very unique and dynamic. And the fact that they're both going in as champion, I am in 100%.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Dana. You've got the champion and you got the interim champion going head-to-head. So with that being said, in terms of the UFC as a whole, what's the significance of this bout?
Yeah, stylistic, everything that surrounds this fight is exciting. All the drama that's going on right now with Francis's contract, the bad blood between both camps. They used to train together, and the fact that you have a guy who can end a fight with one punch. Francis has 100% finish rate going in against Ciryl Gane, who is the interim champion and is probably the best technical striker in the history of the heavyweight division.
I mean, that's saying a lot for a guy who has to take down a guy the size of Francis Ngannou. But, Dwayne, back in your wrestling days, you reigned supreme over the WWE for years. And that's clearly what both of these fighters want to do in the UFC. What do you think it would mean for their respective legacies if they were to win this fight?
I love that. I love that question, and I love where it went at the end. Regardless of division and weight here, you have UFC fighters. They step into that iconic octagon and they look to establish their dominance. They look to establish their legacy, and some become champions, some don't. This is a very unique matchup here with two very unique individuals, and I think a win here for either one will start to establish their legacy. But also, I think just, again, for me, I'll go back as a fan and someone who has never competed in the octagon, though I would have loved to many, many moons ago, though I would have gotten my face smashed in, and I like my jaw where it's at. But for me, what makes it intriguing is the fact that, and of course Dana can speak to this here, but the fact that both of these men have potential to go on to be the greatest of all time. And that is saying a lot for these two men. So that part intrigues me a lot. And I love the word legacy because it is something that I take a lot of pride in. Once we know, as an athlete, once you make that decision to understand what your why is and why you compete day in and day out, that legacy is the thing really that anchors all athletes. And I know it anchors these guys too as well.
Whether it's boxing or MMA, I've always considered the heavyweight champion literally one of the baddest dudes on the face of the planet. Dana, what do you think it means for a fighter to hold the heavyweight crown?
Yeah, it's all about the heavyweight championship. And the heavyweight champion of the UFC is looked at as the baddest man on earth. So like The Rock was just saying, this is all about legacy. And for a guy like Ciryl Gane, he's undefeated, 10-0, and beating Francis and becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion be massive for him.
Hey, let's go to the co-main event because you got the continuing story of flyweight champion Brandon Moreno. He wasn't a guy who was destined for UFC gold, but he put in the work, he climbed the rankings, and he claimed that championship. For you, Dwayne, when you look at Moreno and his story, what stands out to you?
Oh, his heart. stands out to me, and this never give up attitude, never give up fight and grit. I believe he was cut before from the UFC. Now he's come back, but it's that's that unique thing that it embodies these UFC athletes, is that never give up. I will grit it out until the wheels fall off and until the breath stops. And here's a guy who has such tremendous pride, not only in his abilities and has confidence in his abilities, but also has such a tremendous pride in his culture. And I love the fact that there's such great representation on behalf of Moreno, but also on behalf of Figueiredo too. And that is also, it speaks, and it's really a reflection of how global the UFC is. So I love this story. I can't wait to see this rematch again. It's going to be great.
Hey, Dana, you've seen countless fighters take several different routes to become UFC champions. What's it been like for you to watch Moreno, considering where he started to where he ended up as champion?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. Picked dead last on The Ultimate Fighter, cut in 2018, comes back and becomes the first ever Mexican born UFC world champion. And the kid has become a huge superstar for us. Whenever we do appearances with him, it's unbelievable. And you will see Saturday night what a massive star this kid is when he enters the arena that night.
Yeah, fan favorite. They love him, and he has just the perfect attitude as well. All right, as we mentioned earlier, we want to talk about this collaboration between the UFC and Project Rock, Dwayne Johnson's innovative sportswear line. Every UFC fighter is going to be outfitted in your shoes, Dwayne. I mean, they're going to be rocking these shoes on the way to the octagon before they set foot in there to have battle on Saturday night. What's going to be like for you to watch that?
It's an honor and it's a privilege, and I'm grateful and humbled. This also speaks to the relationship of me and Dana. I've known Dana for almost 20 years. We've been buddies, and this was his idea. He said, he hit me up and he said, I got this idea. What do you think? And I love it because, first of all, it's incredible exposure for the brand of Project Rock. And again, this is why I am so grateful. I put so much heart and blood, sweat, and respect into the brand of Project Rock because it is a reflection and an anchor of who I am in my DNA. But beyond, I think, the brand exposure and these two brands coming together, it's deeper than that to me. It is, these fighters are on an island, and I have such tremendous respect for these fighters, the men and women. And that island that they're on, they make for the ones who walk the walk. And they make that walk to the iconic octagon, and they put it all out on the line. They put their bodies on, sacrifice their bodies, their legacy, and everything else in between. So it is truly an honor because also the brand of Project Rock and the shoe, this training shoe, the innovative training shoe, was made and designed and engineered for me and my training. I like to say, be the hardest worker in the room. It's not just a catchy slogan. It's who I am. It's my life. But the truth is, now in this collaboration, this partnership, being the global footwear for the UFC, the fighters, the men and women, they're the hardest workers in the room. They are the ones who walk the walk. They are the champions. So it is an honor and a privilege for them to be wearing Project Rock. Thank you, Dana. I appreciate it, brother. It was a great idea.
Thank you.
Well, Dwayne, you've seen firsthand, as I have, that, Dana's got some pretty good taste in sneakers, and he's got some access that I don't have, and I'm a little jealous of that. But nonetheless, Dana, why is this collaboration between the UFC and Project Rock such a good fit for the UFC?
Yeah, well, first of all, I love him. And like you said, we've been friends for a long time. And, I've always been waiting for the opportunity to do something with him. He's a perfectionist. And like you said, it's no joke. This guy's one of the hardest working guys on planet Earth. Everything he touches turns to gold. His attention to detail when he does something is second to none. And, I saw this opportunity. I reached out, and it's the perfect fit for both of us right now.
Well, here's the thing I don't quite understand, Dwayne, and I need some enlightenment here. Between acting, producing, sportswear, tequila, I don't know how you have time to actually launch a new football league as well, but that's happening also here this year with the XFL. What are you hoping to bring to football fans with the XFL?
An exciting game, a high-quality game with the XFL. We want to, this version of the XFL with new leadership, myself, Danny Garcia, my long-term business partner, Jerry Cardinal, who has a track record of building billion-dollar sports franchises. The goal is to create an exciting game for the fans, to build out the game of football that we love so much. I know Dana loves the game too as well, and I think that, and your listeners and your viewers obviously love the game of football. So the goal is that to build a league of culture, a league of passion, certainly a league of mana. But also, look, I'm a former player. I love the game of football. I put my hand in the dirt, and I was pretty decent at the game. My dream of playing in the NFL for years, coming out of University of Miami, the U. That dream never happened for me. I never made it to the NFL, but what a cool full circle moment that I'm able to become the owner of this league, present this league in a brand new way to grow out the game of football. Exciting play, innovative ruling, innovative gameplay, exciting for the fans, but most importantly, as someone, this is the exact same way I feel about the UFC fighters, but most importantly with the XFL, my number one goal as an owner, is to take care of the players and to create an opportunity for the players to live out their dreams, to take care of their families, pay their bills, play with pride, play with passion, and play proudly in the XFL. That's the goal.
And obviously, Dana is already locked in for season tickets, right, Dana?
I hope so. I hope so.
He's in. Dana has a special place at every game. I promise you that.
Fair enough. Hey, Dana,
Perfect.
Dwayne, we appreciate the time. Thanks for hanging out with us here on UFC Live on ABC, and enjoy the fight tonight.
Cannot wait. UFC 270.
Thanks for having me.
Here.